Hey everybody, this is Christopher Brower here with Daily Motor, and today we're driving possibly the best car I've driven all year. This is the 2022 Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing, a fire-breathing, supercharged V8 super sedan with a proper 6-speed manual transmission. I can't tell you how nice it is to be back in a proper driver's car. And look at it, this spec is just outrageous. It's a beautiful metallic red with these awesome gold wheels and even gold brake calipers to match. Before anything, let's go ahead and pop the hood and take a look at this powertrain, because that is, of course, the main, well, point of this car, right? Ooh, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot. So here it is, the 6.2 liter supercharged V8 engine. Yes, it still has push rods, whatever that means. All I know is that it makes a very nice noise. We have a little signature here on who it was handcrafted by, Steve Simpson. Well, thank you, Steve. You've done a very nice job. This engine is a masterpiece. 668 horsepower and 659 foot-pounds of torque. And it all goes to the rear wheels, which is absolute bliss. And in the middle, of course, as I mentioned, a 6-speed manual transmission. Really cool V logo under the hood here. If you're not familiar with what the Blackwing means, the easiest way to explain it is that the Blackwing is what the V used to be, and the V is now what the V Sport used to be. So the Blackwing is the full V. A predecessor to this car would have been the V8 powered CT5-V of years past. This is the newest version, and probably, unfortunately, I hate to say, the last. This is Cadillac's last hurrah in this super V8 segment, and man, have they outdone themselves. This car is really special, and I can't wait to take you guys on a bit of a drive. We're going to be doing some street impressions today, probably about 5-10 minutes on the street, and then I'll switch, fast forward to tomorrow, where we're going to have this thing out at Gingerman Raceway for some track impressions, and we'll actually wrap up the review there. But for right now, we'll just do a walk around of the car and interior tour, and then we'll go out for a brief drive on the street. With 668 horsepower, there's not too much you can do on the street in this car, because after 2 seconds of acceleration, you are likely breaking the law, and after 10 seconds of acceleration, you're probably committing a felony of some sort. So we'll try and keep it brief on the street and really unleash this car out on the track. And I'm just now realizing I have a hoodie and shoes in here. Sorry, Charlie. Really big usable trunk space here. Super deep there, as a Cadillac should be. That's important. Cadillacs, no matter what sort of Cadillac you have, got to be able to fit at least 2 bodies in the trunk, and that does definitely meet that requirement. Really cool carbon fiber spoiler here on the trunk. I really like when manufacturers put carbon fiber lips on cars that don't look gaudy. I don't think this one is too big or anything. I think it looks absolutely perfect. For tires, we're running Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, the pretty typical tire for a performance car nowadays. Very sticky, good performance tires. Yeah, anyways, all right, let's go ahead and hop into the back seat, which doesn't matter too much, but I might as well show you while we're here. The door handles are kind of strange. They don't actually open like a normal car. They've got buttons inside, which confused my 92-year-old grandfather when he was trying to get into the passenger side. Yesterday, I had to get out and do the door for him. So if you are taking your grandparents in a car like this, make sure you explain the door handles beforehand. Make things much easier for you and for them. Another reason to get back here is to show off these gorgeous carbon seat backs. You really don't see too much carbon up front, but when you're in the back seat, you're treated to this very nice view here. Really gorgeous seats. I'm excited to show you what they actually look like up front. But as far as back seat amenities go, not really too much back here. We don't have our own climate panel. We've got one USB-C port and a cigarette lighter style port there for a phone charger or whatever. You've got an armrest here with 2 cup holders, and your door pockets down here will fit a water bottle, as you can see there. But that's really about it. I've got plenty of room back here. It's not an extravagant amount of room. In fact, I think I have more rear seat room in the new Honda Civic, but this is very comfortable. The actual rear seat cushion feels like it's a very nice quality, and the colors, The theme of the front is continued into the back with these red seat belts, though I am slightly bothered that the middle seat belt is black, but we'll gloss over that for the sake of me wanting to make this car look perfect. We've got V right here on the seats, and we've got white and red stitching down the middle and white piping on the edges. No, I am actually going to complain about this. Why can't the middle seat belt be red? Come on, guys. It's bothering me. But the Alcantara headliner, I think, makes up for it. Add a couple of my fingerprints in there. Daily Motor. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and hop up to the front. Check that out. Ooh, look at that vent right there. Yes. Really cool V door sill.
Sorry, could you say that again?
No.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
I didn't ask you anything. We've got really cool V door sill trim pieces here, as well as V on our floor mats. And I'll give you a good look at these seats from this angle. Not the craziest seats in the world, but they get the job done, and they look really, really classy. I think that this is a nice balance between like a full carbon racing seat and Cadillac luxury. We've got V on our headrest here. This very peculiar, not quite diamond stitching, but similar here at the top of the seat. And then similar to what you saw in the back seat with the white piping and the red and white stitching there in the middle. And that's probably a GM Performance badge. No, it's a Blackwing badge. Very cool. Little metal Blackwing badge there on the seat. It's always cool to see little reminders in here that you're driving something special. You look to your right, you see that Blackwing badge, and all is well. Down here, another V badge here on the steering wheel, a V button, all sorts of reminders in here that you're driving a V car. Before we get started with the interior tour up here, which will be brief, there's not too much, let's start this thing up so you can hear what it sounds like. You know, I do have love for these new style V8s that are very high revving, sometimes with a flat plane crank. The modern V8 is what I'm trying to say, but you can't beat a classic pushrod style V8. Oh my God, listen to that. Oh, we're in my mode right now, so I've got it tuned for the exhaust to be in its loudest mode. As you can see here, my mode. Steering and suspension on soft, brake feel medium, and engine sound all the way loud, as you should. Oh, I'm at a crisis. Yes. Really solid pops and bangs there on the down rev. All right, we're gonna roll our windows up here so you can hear me for the interior tour. And yeah, we'll leave the climate control alone. Pretty simple interior. I'm not the biggest fan of the entire design up here as far as the dashboard, the infotainment, and some other things up here go, but it's all right because, as you just heard, it makes one of the best sounds in the entire world. I've got Apple CarPlay right now. You do have wireless CarPlay, which you'll need because there's not too many places to put your phone. You've got a wireless charger here, but if you don't want a wireless charge, then I don't really know where you're going to put your phone because it doesn't fit in there, won't fit in there. I guess you could put it sideways in the cup holders, but then you've got nowhere to put your drinks. So this is really the only spot for your phone, and I always use wired CarPlay because sometimes wireless CarPlay messes with the GoPro when you're trying to preview. So I always do wired CarPlay, and I've found that really just the cup holders are the easiest place to put my phone. Otherwise, the actual climate control panel, it does a good job. We've got heated and cooled seats in this Blackwing, and just having a physical climate control panel is really refreshing. We also have a volume knob. It's in a little bit of a weird spot, asymmetrical with the tune knob there, but at least they gave us a volume knob. I'm not even going to complain about that. Additionally, on this panel, we have a home button that takes you back to just your normal GM infotainment with navigation and everything else. If you want to learn more about this stuff as well as the AKG sound system, I will have Charlie's sound system review linked down below. Apple CarPlay looks really good. It fills the screen nicely. No sort of split screen action here, which I can appreciate. The cluster, okay, there's a lot going on here. It's a very, very busy display. We've got our rev counter in the middle, as well as what gear you're in. It'll show you there. Turn on our rev matching here. It turns yellow, yes. You've also got a number of things on the right, including trip computer, performance, driver assist, song you're listening to, navigation, phone, maintenance, so many things, or you can just have nothing. I've just been leaving it on the trip computer so I can see how poor I'm doing as far as fuel economy goes. On the left-hand side, we have performance gauges, we have G meter, a couple different temperatures and pressures, and then also tire pressure down there on the left-hand side. Temperature gauge down there, and of course fuel gauge. But this rev counter looks really cool. I really appreciate a big central tack like this. Also 12 o'clock marked in red here on our steering wheel. A little bit of a carbon accent down here. V button, and then also your different traction control settings, because Cadillac likes to give you 5 different traction control settings. You've got race 2, race 1, sport, dry, wet, and inactive. We're gonna go ahead and leave that in dry for today. It's amazing how many different sport traction options they can give you. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it on for now. These are your different settings of off. You can have it in 6 different ways. All right, cool, that's enough. I don't want to talk about the interior anymore. I want to get this thing out on the road, go for a little bit of a drive, and then I'm really looking forward to taking it out on the track tomorrow. Red seat belts, how cool is that? All right, cool. Parking brakes over here on the left. It's just a button, not too big of a deal. Shifter feel is great. Clutch feel is great. It's honestly a very easy car to drive. Of course, if you're familiar with manual transmissions. So this is, of course, a 6-speed manual. This car is also available with a 10-speed automatic. I don't know why you'd ever get that. I suppose if you are going strictly drag racing, you don't really care about driving pleasure, you just want to go fast. At least GM offers you a 10-speed automatic. So good for people that like to go fast in a straight line. But if you really want to get the most out of driving pleasure in this car, you got to go for the 6-speed manual. It's an absolute treat. It feels very similar to the shifter in the 4 Blackwing as well as the Camaro, so that's all good stuff. GM does a good job with their shifter feel. Oh, that is just brutal. And we've never heard of stop signs here, so we get to be behind a bubble F-150. Oh, man. What a thing this is. Sometimes I find it hard reviewing cars like this because I just want to listen to the car the entire time. God. It's amazing that this car is legal. I mean, seriously. You can see that no lift shift function there. It adjusts the timing so the car doesn't bounce off the limiter, and it holds your revs so you're at max potential for the next gear. Rev matching system is absolutely flawless, as you can see there. God, and the grip from this thing. Oh! God, it's it's astounding. You'd expect this thing to just be all over the place. There is a state cop here. So we'll go ahead and relax for a second. You would expect this thing to just be all over the place, and that's really just not the case. All right, since there's a state cop, we're gonna go this way, because this is an untraditional review anyways, so who cares? Virtually no rev hang. It's just about the perfect amount to smoothly get you into the next gear, and it feels so proper. There is something rattling over here though that's been driving me nuts for the past couple days. I don't know what it is. Just normal GM stuff, I guess. All right, well, before the cops come and kill me, let's do a little bit of a launch control, which is very simple in this car. First gear, foot all the way on the clutch, foot all the way on the gas. Set your revs at 4,000 RPM. Controls your traction there. And then you blast off and you're doing 80 miles an hour in like 4 seconds. It's just ridiculous. What a car. Oh, there's roadkill up here. Sorry, poor chap. Oh. Now, when I say that this is one of the best cars I've ever driven, I really mean that. And I've only been driving it for about 2 days, and I've really bonded with it. It's cars like this that you don't learn to fully appreciate them until you've spent some time behind the wheel. And boy, is this a special car. I mean, I'm so excited to take you guys out on the track, and you'll see that in probably just about a minute. I'll switch over to the track footage. What a sweetheart this car is, though, seriously. And performance driving aside, if you're just driving it around town normally, it's very easy, it's very forgiving, it's still comfortable, it's still a Cadillac. I mean, I wouldn't see why you couldn't daily drive this car. Now, the hardest part is going to be actually obtaining one. This car starts at about 84 grand, but as spec, this one's around 100, and with dealer markups nowadays, with just the way the world is, I know it sucks, but it's just the way that it is. It's going to be hard to obtain one of these for, less than 6 figures, but if you have a GM dealer plug and you're able to do it, all the power to you. Because I would. This car has made me, oh dear. I hope he's not waiting for me. Is this a sign? Is this some sort of a sign? Oh dear. Oh, we'll go ahead and behave ourselves. He is on the brake right now. He's waiting to set off behind me, probably. He's probably like, target locked. Well, I was going to let you guys hear the car a little bit, but the state cop is just doing his thing. Anyways, what I was going to say is this car has given me more and higher aspirations for my life because I need one of these cars someday. There's no way I can live my life without one of these cars in it. Oh, listen to those burbles. Goodness. Above 3,500 RPM, the tone of the engine changes, and it's just so good. Oh, I need one of these in my life. I am such a 12-year-old when I drive these cars. I mean, come on. And that's going to go ahead and wrap up our street drive of the CT5-V Blackwing. And thanks to the edit, you guys will see me on track in 3, 2, 1, now. We are out on track in the Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing. I know I just left you guys on the street, but magically now, thanks to editing, we're at Gingerman Raceway. And boy, is this thing a treat on the track. Of course, it's no Corvette or anything like that, but for a big family sedan, it sure does feel planted here. Oh yeah. The power out of corners is just unreal. There's torque everywhere. The no lift shift makes it so you can stay in boost between gears. Not that that really matters with a supercharged car, but it makes a cool noise, so I've been using it. Oh man. One thing I do wish I had out here was an Alcantara steering wheel because my hands are sweaty. This is a lot of car to handle. I am in V mode, but I've got traction control and everything still on, traction stability. All right, here comes the back straight. That is just unreal. Precision downshifts with this auto rev match does a really good job. The turn in is crisp. The steering in V mode's a little bit tighter than it is just in Tour or anything else. We haven't even talked about the sound. God, the sound this thing makes is just intoxicating. I know this is a very sort of old-fashioned-y V8 in this car, as a lot of GM V8s are, but the noise it makes is so addicting. Even though that passenger seat has been rattling pretty badly this entire time, more so on the street, but brakes feel good. Good bite. You can definitely feel the weight through the brake pedal. This is not a light car. Okay, heavy on the brakes here. All right, guys, well, that's gonna wrap it up for us today with the Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing. A seriously impressive car on the street and on the track. It's definitely one of the best cars I've ever driven. Just an unreal experience here. This engine in this platform, you wouldn't expect it to be phenomenal, but I mean, it really, really is. So thanks to GM for making this car. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm almost lost for words at this point with how good this car is. Let's see how much brake dust I've accumulated on the front wheels here. Oh, it's not even that bad. All right, guys, well, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you all very soon in the next video. This has been Christopher Brower here with Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.